She stood there in that kitchen, looking at me with eyes full of something I thought was love, and I was about to destroy everything. Celeste touched my arm gently. "You have been distant all week, Iris. Talk to me, please." My hands were shaking. I set down the champagne glass I had been polishing. "There is something I need to tell you, something I should have told you weeks ago." Her face changed. That warmth I had worked so hard to build started draining away. "What are you talking about?" I took a breath. "Do you remember when I said something told me I needed to take this job?" "Yes." I lied. "Not entirely. But Celeste, I knew who you were before I came here. I knew about Ezra." The silence that followed was the loudest thing I have ever heard. "What?" "Ezra was my therapist. After my brother died, I was drowning, and Ezra helped me. We only had 6 sessions before he died, but he talked about you, about how much he loved you, about the wedding you were planning, about how you were the best thing in his life." She stepped back, like I had struck her. "You knew. This whole time you knew, and you did not tell me." I did not know how. At first, I took the job because I felt like I owed him something, like maybe I could help the person he loved the way he helped me. But then I got to know you, and it stopped being about him. It became about us. Her voice rose, cutting through the air like a blade. "There is no us. You lied to me. You used my grief and his memory to what? Play savior? Make yourself feel better? No, Celeste, please, get out." Her voice went cold, that terrifying cold I thought we had moved past. "You are fired. I want you gone tonight." "Celeste," I said, "get out." Let me back up and tell you how we got here. How a broken billionaire's daughter and a housekeeper with a devastating secret found each other in the wreckage of their grief. This is a story about loss, about walls we build to survive, and about the one person brave enough, or maybe stupid enough, to refuse to leave. My name is Iris Chen, and this is how I fell in love with the most impossible woman I have ever met. The Harrington estate sat on 3 acres of Seattle perfection, all glass and steel and old money, surrounded by gardens that belonged in magazines. Inside, the marble floors gleamed with a coldness that matched the heart of its youngest occupant. I had done my research before applying. Celeste Harrington, 23 years old, beautiful in that sharp, untouchable way that only the truly privileged master, daughter of tech billionaire Robert Harrington and his philanthropist wife Catherine. On paper, she had everything. In reality, she had nothing but rage and grief, and an impressive ability to make grown adults cry. Marie was housekeeper number 7. I watched from across the street as she stumbled out of the estate on a Tuesday afternoon, mascara running, hands shaking as she loaded her belongings into her car. Catherine Harrington stood in the doorway, exhaustion written into every line of her elegant frame. "Please, Marie, surely you can last 1 more week. We are traveling to Singapore. She needs someone here." Marie shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I am sorry, Mrs. Harrington. I have children. I cannot." She threw a vase at me, a crystal vase. From somewhere inside the house, a voice called out, sharp and bored and utterly without remorse. It was empty. "Do not be so dramatic." Marie got in her car and left, just like the 6 before her, just like everyone eventually did. I waited until the next morning to submit my application. Catherine Harrington met me at the service entrance 3 days later. Rain fell in sheets, turning the world gray and soft. She held an iPad and looked at me like she was trying to solve a puzzle. "Miss Chen, your references are impressive. Overqualified, actually. You have a master's degree in psychology. Why do you want a housekeeping position?" "I need it." I kept my voice steady, calm, gave nothing away. "I should be honest with you. My daughter is difficult. The last 7 housekeepers have left within weeks. Some lasted only days. She is not violent exactly, but she is cruel. Deliberately, creatively cruel. She will test you until you break." "I understand." Catherine studied me, really looked at me. "Do you? Because if you leave like the others, I will be back to square one. We cannot keep doing this." "I will not leave." I held her gaze. "I promise you, I will not leave." Something in my voice made her pause. Some quality I could not name but knew was there. The steel that grief had forged in me over 3 years of learning to survive my brother's death. She hired me on the spot, Celeste's suite took up half the third floor, all whites and silvers and floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the Sound. It was beautiful, the way museums are beautiful. Perfect and cold and utterly lifeless. She was lying across her bed when Catherine brought me up, expensive headphones on, scrolling through her phone, deliberately ignoring us. Catherine did not bother with pleasantries. "This is Iris. She starts today. Try not to break her immediately." Celeste pulled off one headphone. Her eyes swept over me with the disinterest of someone appraising a piece of furniture. "How long will you last, I wonder?" She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "The last one made it 12 days. Want to set a record?" "I do not leave." She laughed, sharp and bitter. "We will see." Catherine left us there, two women sizing each other up like fighters before a match. Celeste sat up, crossing her legs, tilting her head in a way that was probably meant to intimidate. "Let me guess." She tapped one finger against her knee. "You think you are different. You think you can handle me. You have read about difficult employers, maybe dealt with some challenging personalities. You are confident, capable. I am." "Wrong answer." She stood, moving closer. "I am not challenging, Iris. I am impossible. I do not want you here. I do not want anyone here. And I will make your life so miserable that you will beg to leave. Then I guess we will both be disappointed." I met her eyes directly. "Because I already told you. I do not leave." For just a second, something flickered across her face. Surprise, maybe, or curiosity, but it vanished as quickly as it came. "We will see." She turned away, dismissing me. "You can start by organizing my closet. Everything by color, then by season, then by designer. I want it done by dinner, of course." "And Iris?" She glanced back over her shoulder. "Do not expect please or thank you. You will not get them here." "I understand." "Good. Now get out." I left her there and went to tackle the closet. It was massive, 300 square feet at least, filled with clothes that cost more than most people made in a year. And it was deliberately, completely destroyed. Dresses on the floor, shoes scattered everywhere, hangers thrown in piles. This was not the mess of someone disorganized. This was the mess of someone testing me. I started sorting. 6 hours later, when Celeste came to inspect, every single item was organized exactly as she had demanded. Color-coded, seasonal, designer labels facing out. Perfect. She walked through slowly, running her fingers along the clothes. She did not say anything for a long moment. Then she turned to me. "Redo it." "What?" "You heard me. Redo it." I changed my mind. I wanted organized by type first, then color. "Of course." I kept my voice even. "I will start now." Something in her face twisted. Frustration, maybe. She had expected anger. Expected me to quit on day one. "Forget it." She waved a hand. "Just bring me dinner in an hour. Something light. Surprise me. What do you not eat? Do I look like I need to explain myself to you? Figure it out." She left. I stood there in her perfect closet and let myself feel it for just a moment. The anger, the frustration, the urge to walk out and never come back. Then I thought about Ezra, about the man who had sat across from me 3 years ago when I was drowning in grief and said, "Pain makes people cruel sometimes, Iris. It is not an excuse, but it is an explanation. The people who hurt the most often hurt others the hardest." I went downstairs and made dinner. The first week was warfare. Celeste woke me at 2 in the morning, demanding fresh pancakes. I made them. She took one bite and said they were too sweet. I made them again. She did not even try them the second time. She left coffee spills on freshly laundered white sheets. I changed them without comment. She knocked over an entire shelf of perfume bottles, 30 bottles of designer fragrance, and watched me clean it up with something like anticipation in her eyes. "Why are you not yelling at me?" she demanded on day 4, watching me scrub perfume out of white carpet. Would it change anything? It would be more interesting than this silent martyr act. I am not a martyr. I scrubbed harder. I am just doing my job. Everyone has a breaking point. She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "What is yours?" I paused, met her eyes. "Not you." It was not defiance. It was just fact. And I could see it infuriated her more than any argument could have. The tests got worse. more creative, more deliberately cruel. She threw a silk blouse in the trash and told me to fish it out. I did. She criticized every meal I cooked, then ate them when she thought I was not watching. She made impossible demands and then changed her mind the moment I completed them. And through it all, I stayed calm. I stayed present. I stayed. On day 9, she cornered me in the hallway. Why? Her voice was sharp, but there was something desperate underneath. Why do you stay? I have given you every reason to leave. I have been horrible to you. Yes, you have. So why? Because the first see you. I set down the laundry basket I was carrying. I see what you are doing. You are testing me to see when I will abandon you. Because everyone does, right? Everyone leaves eventually. So you might as well control it. Might as well drive them away yourself. Her face went pale. You do not know anything about me. I know what loss looks like. I know what it does to people. I know that cruelty is easier than vulnerability. Stop. I know you are in pain. And I know you think if you keep everyone far enough away, you cannot be hurt again. I said stop. Her voice broke on the word. I am not leaving, Celeste. No matter how cruel you are, no matter how hard you push, I am staying. She stared at me for a long moment. Her hands were shaking. Then she turned and walked away without another word. But something had shifted. I felt it in the air between us. A crack in the armor. The next morning, she came down to breakfast. I had made coffee and set out fruit and pastries. She sat at the counter, did not say anything, just sat there. I poured her coffee, set it in front of her. She wrapped her hands around the cup. Thank you. Her voice was so quiet, I almost missed it. You are welcome. She looked up at me then, really looked at me. And for the first time, I saw past the ice in her eyes to the grief underneath. We sat there in silence, drinking coffee. It was not much, but it was something. Catherine and Robert left for Singapore on a Thursday. The house felt cavernous without them. Just me and Celeste and all that empty space. She had been different since our hallway conversation. Quieter, less deliberately cruel. She still tested me, but it felt almost reflexive now, like she was going through motions she no longer believed in. On Friday night, I found her in the library. Tell me about your family. She was sitting in a leather chair by the window, a book unopened in her lap. I have parents in San Francisco. One brother. I paused. Had one brother. She looked up sharply. Had? Daniel. He died 3 years ago. Car accident. He was 17. I am sorry. Everyone is sorry. I smiled sadly. Sorry does not bring them back. No. She set the book aside. It does not. We sat in silence for a moment. Then she spoke again, softer this time. Tell me about him. So I did. I told her about Daniel's ridiculous dream of becoming a marine biologist, about how he narrated nature documentaries at dinner, doing the voice and driving our parents crazy, about how he left his wet towels on the bathroom floor and ate all the good cereal and knew exactly how to make me laugh when I was sad. He sounds wonderful. He was. I looked at her. Tell me about yours. She flinched. My what? Your loss. Because you have one. I can see it. For a long moment, I thought she would shut down, would retreat behind her walls. But then she took a breath. His name was Ezra, my fiancé. He died 5 years ago. Aneurysm. One moment we were planning our wedding, talking about flowers and cake flavors and all these stupid, beautiful details. The next moment, he was gone. The guilt I had been carrying twisted in my chest. I knew all of this, and I was sitting here pretending I did not. I am so sorry, Celeste. We were supposed to get married in the garden, right out there. She gestured toward the windows. We had picked the date, sent the invitations, and then he died. And I became this, she gestured at herself, this angry, broken thing that drives everyone away. You are not broken. Yes, I am. She met my eyes. I am shattered into 1,000 pieces, and I do not know how to put myself back together. So I just stay sharp, stay cruel, because at least that way, I am in control. Control is an illusion, maybe, but it is all I have. I wanted to tell her then, wanted to confess everything, but fear kept my mouth shut. Fear that the fragile connection we were building would shatter, that she would hate me, that I would lose her before I ever really had her. So I stayed quiet, And that silence would come back to haunt me. The days bled into weeks. Celeste and I fell into a rhythm. She would wake, and I would bring her coffee. We would talk, sometimes about Daniel, sometimes about Ezra, sometimes about nothing at all. She asked questions about my life. I asked about hers. She told me about Ezra, about how they met in college, about his terrible jokes and his kind heart, and the way he made her feel seen, about the night he proposed, down on one knee in the rain, both of them laughing. And every word was a knife in my chest because I knew these stories. I had heard them before, from Ezra himself, sitting in his office 3 years ago. He had been my therapist for exactly 6 sessions before he died. 6 hours of my life where this brilliant, kind man had helped me start to climb out of the darkness Daniel's death had created. In those sessions, he had talked about his fiancée, about how much he loved her, about how worried he was because she worked too hard and never let herself rest. I need to make sure she knows how much I love her. He had said that in our last session. Life is so fragile, Iris. We have to tell the people we love while we can. 2 days later, he was dead, and I had carried that with me. The guilt that he had helped me, and I could not help him. The feeling that I owed him something, that maybe, if I could help Celeste, I could repay some impossible debt. But it had stopped being about debt. Somewhere along the way, it had become about her, about the woman behind the armor, about the way her eyes crinkled when she really laughed, about the vulnerability she showed me and no one else. I was falling for her, and my lie was growing between us like a cancer. It was early December when everything shifted again. I found Celeste in the conservatory late one night. She had been drinking wine, not excessively, but enough to soften her edges. She was staring out at the rain. I should have left her alone, should have maintained the professional distance that was already long gone. But I sat down on the window seat across from her. "Can I ask you something?" She did not look at me. "Of course. Why do you really stay? And do not tell me it is just a job. You could work anywhere, do anything. So why here? Why me?" "Because you need someone who will not leave." I said it quietly. "And because somewhere along the way, I started needing you too." She turned to look at me then. Her eyes were bright with unshed tears and something else, something that made my heart race. "This is dangerous. I know. I do not know how to do this, how to let someone in again. Neither do I." We were leaning closer. I could smell her perfume, could count her eyelashes, could feel the heat of her. "I am terrified." Her voice was a whisper. "Me too." She closed the distance between us, kissed me softly, tentatively, like she was afraid I might disappear. I kissed her back, my hand coming up to cup her face, and it felt like falling and flying at the same time. When we broke apart, she was crying. "I cannot do this." She pulled back. "I cannot lose someone again, Iris. I cannot survive it. You do not have to survive anything alone, not anymore. You do not understand. Everyone leaves. Everyone dies. My parents will die. You will die. Everyone I love ends up gone. Then love me while I am here." I took her hands. "Love me now. Is not that better than never loving at all? I do not know. I do not know if I am brave enough. You are the bravest person I know." She laughed through her tears. "I am cruel and broken and impossible. You are healing. You are trying. That is brave." She kissed me again, deeper this time, desperate and tender, and full of all the fear and hope neither of us could name. We did not sleep together that night, just held each other on that window seat, wrapped in blankets, watching the rain. She fell asleep against my shoulder, and I stayed awake, memorizing the feel of her, knowing that my secret was a time bomb, knowing I had to tell her, knowing I was too much of a coward to do it yet. December slipped toward the new year. Celeste and I existed in a strange liminal space, not quite lovers, not just employer and employee, something undefined and precious and terrifying. We were careful around Catherine and Robert when they returned from Singapore, professional during the day, but at night we would find each other, talk for hours, share soft kisses that tasted like healing. She was different now, lighter. She smiled more, laughed. She started leaving her room, going out to the garden, engaging with the world again. Catherine noticed. I could see the hope and confusion in her eyes. One afternoon, Catherine pulled me aside. "I do not know what you are doing," she said it quietly, "but my daughter is coming back to life. So thank you. I am not doing anything special. You are. You stayed. That is everything." The guilt nearly broke me then, because I had not just stayed. I had lied, was still lying. Every moment I did not tell Celeste the truth felt like a betrayal. I tried once. We were in her room, and she was showing me photos of Ezra, laughing and crying as she told me stories. "He would have liked you." She said it with such certainty. He was always telling me I needed to let people in more, that I worked too hard at keeping everyone at a distance. My throat was tight. "Celeste, there is something I need to tell you." "What?" I looked at her face, at the openness there, the trust, and I could not do it, could not risk shattering this fragile, beautiful thing we had built. "Nothing, just that I am glad I am here." "Me too." She kissed me softly. "Me too." But the secret grew heavier. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating properly. Catherine noticed. Celeste noticed. "You have been distant all week." Celeste said it with concern, not accusation. "Are you okay?" "I am fine, just tired." "Iris," she touched my face, "talk to me." I wanted to. God, I wanted to, but fear kept me silent. New Year's Eve arrived. Catherine and Robert were hosting a party, small, just close friends and business associates. Celeste had agreed to attend, which Catherine said was a miracle. Celeste looked beautiful in silver that made her look like starlight. She found me in the kitchen where I was helping prepare champagne. "You should be celebrating too." "I am working." "Iris." She touched my arm, and the casual intimacy of it spoke volumes. "Talk to me. You have been distant all week." And I knew I could not do this anymore, could not carry this lie another day. It was poisoning everything between us. "There is something I need to tell you." My voice shook. "Something I should have told you weeks ago." Her face changed, concern shifting to wariness. "What are you talking about? Do you remember when I said something told me I needed to take this job?" "Yes, I lied, not entirely, but Celeste, I knew who you were before I came here. I knew about Ezra." The words hung between us like smoke. I watched her face as understanding dawned, as trust turned to confusion turned to betrayal. "What?" "Ezra was my therapist. After my brother died, I was drowning, and my parents found him. He was brilliant and kind, and he helped me start to heal. We only had 6 sessions before he died, but he talked about you, about how much he loved you, about the wedding you were planning, about how you were the best thing in his life." She stepped back, physically recoiled like I had struck her. "You knew. This whole time you knew, and you did not tell me?" I did not know how. At first, I took the job because I felt like I owed him something, like maybe I could help the person he loved the way he helped me. But then I got to know you, and it stopped being about him. It became about us. "There is no us." Her voice rose. Heads turned in the next room. "You lied to me. You used my grief and his memory to what? Play savior? Make yourself feel better?" "No, Celeste, please." "You sat there." Her voice was shaking now. "You sat there and listened to me talk about him, listened to me grieve him, let me fall for you. And the whole time, you were lying. I was trying to protect you." "Protect me?" She laughed, bitter and broken. "You were protecting yourself. Too much of a coward to tell the truth." "You are right." Tears were streaming down my face. "You are absolutely right. I should have told you from the beginning, but I was scared. Scared you would push me away. Scared I would lose you. So you lied instead. So you manipulated me, made me trust you, made me love you." Her voice broke on the last word. "I love you too. That is real. Whatever else I did wrong, that is real. Get out." Her voice went cold. That terrible, familiar cold from the first day I met her. "You are fired. I want you gone tonight." "Celeste, please." I said, "Get out." The party had gone silent. Catherine was in the doorway, eyes wide. Robert stood behind her. Everyone was staring. I left, walked out of that kitchen, out of that house, out of Celeste's life, got in my car and drove to a hotel, and cried until I had nothing left. I stayed in Seattle. I do not know why. Some part of me hoped she would call, would text, would give me a chance to explain properly, but my phone stayed silent. 3 days passed. I barely left the hotel room, barely ate, just replayed that conversation over and over, wishing I could go back, wishing I had been braver. On day 4, there was a knock at my door. I opened it, expecting room service. Instead, Catherine Harrington stood there. "May I come in?" I stepped aside, too stunned to speak. She walked in, elegant, even in jeans and a sweater, and turned to face me. "My daughter is destroying her room, smashing things, screaming, sobbing. She has been cycling through rage and grief for 3 days straight. I am so sorry. Are you?" Catherine's eyes were sharp. "Or are you sorry you got caught?" "Both." I met her gaze. "I am sorry I lied. Sorry I hurt her. And yes, sorry she found out the way she did. I should have told her from the beginning. Yes, you should have." Catherine moved to the window, looked out at the city. "But I understand why you did not." "What?" "Ezra helped you survive your grief. You felt you owed him, felt that helping Celeste would somehow repay that debt." "Yes." "And then you fell in love with her, and the lie became impossible to untangle." I covered my face with my hands. "I never meant to hurt her." "But you did." Catherine's voice was gentle but firm. "You hurt her deeply, because she trusted you. She let you past those walls she built. And then you proved that even the people who seem safest can betray you." "I know. I am so sorry." "Stop apologizing to me." Catherine turned to face me. "I am not the one you hurt. She will never forgive me." "Maybe not." Catherine studied me. "But I have watched my daughter for 5 years, watched her destroy herself with grief, watched her push away everyone who tried to help, until you got through to her. You made her want to live again, and then I destroyed that. You made a mistake, a significant one, but your feelings for her were real, were they not?" "Yes. God, yes. I love her. Then fight for her." Catherine moved toward the door. "Do not sit here drowning in guilt. Go to her. Grovel. Be honest. Give her the chance to choose." She chose. She told me to leave. She chose in the heat of the moment, in pain and betrayal. Catherine opened the door, then paused. "Give her the chance to choose now, when she has had time to think, to feel. You stayed with her through everything. Do not give up now." She left. I stood there in that hotel room and felt something shift. Catherine was right. I had stayed through Celeste's worst, had refused to leave no matter how hard she pushed. And now, at the first real obstacle, I was hiding in a hotel. If I loved her, really loved her, I had to fight. I showered, changed, drove back to the estate with my heart in my throat. It was late afternoon. The sun was breaking through clouds, painting everything gold. I walked up to the front door, knocked. Catherine answered, nodded once, stepped aside. She is in Ezra's study. My breath caught. The study Celeste had kept locked for 5 years. The room she only opened on the worst nights. I climbed the stairs, found the door ajar, pushed it open slowly. Celeste sat at Ezra's desk, surrounded by photographs and memories. Her eyes were red and swollen. She looked exhausted, devastated, and so beautiful it hurt. She looked up when I entered. Surprise flickered across her face, then hardened into something cold. "I told you to leave." "I know. I stayed in the doorway. But I am very bad at doing what I am told. This is not funny. I am not trying to be funny." I took a step forward. "I am trying to be brave, trying to fight for you. You do not get to fight for me." She stood, hands shaking. "You lied to me." "I did, and I will spend the rest of my life regretting that. But Celeste, everything else was real. My feelings for you, my respect for you, the way I see you, all of that was real. How am I supposed to believe you? How am I supposed to trust anything you say? You are not right now." I moved closer. "Right now, you are hurt and angry, and you have every right to be. But I am asking you to listen, really listen." She crossed her arms, defensive, armored, but she did not tell me to leave. "I took this job because I felt I owed Ezra. That is true. He helped me when I was drowning, and I thought maybe I could help you. But the moment I met you, the moment I saw past your anger to your pain, it stopped being about him. It became about you. about this brilliant, fierce, wounded woman who was trying so hard to survive. Stop. No. I shook my head. You told me to leave, and I did, but I am not leaving again, not without saying this. I fell in love with you, Celeste, with your strength and your vulnerability, with the way you laugh when you forget to be guarded, with your courage in facing each day when I know how much you are hurting. She was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. I should have told you about Ezra from the beginning. I know that. I was scared and selfish and wrong, but my love for you is not a lie. My commitment to you is not a lie. The way I see you, truly see you, is not a lie. How do I know that? Her voice broke. How do I know what is real and what is manipulation? Because I am here. I gestured around the room. In Ezra's study, the place you kept locked for 5 years. I am here, being honest, even though it terrifies me, even though you might send me away, because you deserve the truth. All of it. She sank back into the chair, put her head in her hands. Ezra talked about you in our sessions. I said it quietly. He talked about how much he loved you, how proud he was of you, how he was planning this elaborate proposal because you deserved something memorable. He said you were the best thing in his life. She looked up at me, eyes searching, and in our last session, he said something I have never forgotten. He said, life is fragile. We have to tell the people we love while we can. I think he knew somehow. I think he was trying to make sure you knew how much he loved you. He did. Her voice was a whisper, even at the end, even when we were fighting about something stupid. He told me he loved me every day. I know you loved him. I know you always will. And I am not asking you to choose between that love and whatever this is between us. I am just asking for a chance, a real chance, with honesty this time. I am so angry at you. She said it through tears. So hurt. I know, you should be. But I also, she stopped, took a shaking breath. I also understand. I understand feeling like you owe someone. I understand being scared of losing something precious. I understand making mistakes when you are trying to protect something you love. Celeste. She stood, walked toward me slowly. We were inches apart now. My therapist after Ezra died told me something. She said the opposite of loss is not protection. It is connection. I spent 5 years proving her wrong, building walls, pushing everyone away, protecting myself from ever being hurt again. You were trying to survive. I was dying. She reached up, touched my face with trembling fingers. Slowly, inch by inch, I was dying. And then you came, and you refused to leave, and you made me feel alive again. I love you. I said it simply, truly. I love you, and I will spend however long it takes earning back your trust. I do not know if I can do this. Her voice was small, scared. I do not know if I am brave enough to risk my heart again. You are the bravest person I know. She laughed, sadly. You said that before. It was true then. It is true now. We stood there, breathing the same air, the space between us charged with everything unsaid. I am not promising to forgive you immediately. She said it carefully. I am hurt. I am angry. I need time. I will give you all the time you need, but I also do not want to lose you. And I think that terrifies me more than the anger. You have not lost me. I will be here, for as long as you will let me. She kissed me then, soft and tentative and tasting of tears. When we broke apart, she rested her forehead against mine. We have to start over. Honestly, this time, okay? I smiled through my own tears. Hi, my name is Iris Chen. I am 26. I lost my brother 3 years ago. Your fiancé was my therapist, and he helped me survive the worst time of my life. I took this job for the wrong reasons, fell in love with you for all the right ones, and I would very much like a chance to prove that you can trust me. She laughed. Actually laughed. Hi, my name is Celeste Harrington. I am 23. I lost my fiancé 5 years ago, and spent the time since then being cruel to anyone who tried to help. I am difficult and broken, and terrified of losing people, but I would very much like to try this. Whatever this is, it is us. I kissed her again. It is just us, figuring it out together. Together. She nodded. Okay. Together. We stood there in Ezra's study, surrounded by memories of the past, choosing to step into the future. It was not a perfect resolution. There was still hurt to work through, trust to rebuild, but it was a beginning, and sometimes a beginning is everything. 6 months later, the Harrington estate looked completely different. We had converted the East Wing into a grief counseling center. Celeste's idea, a place where people who had lost loved ones could come for free therapy, support groups, and community, where they could learn that they were not alone in their pain. I stood in the garden, watching Iris teach a cooking class in the outdoor kitchen we had built. She was laughing at something one of the participants said. Her whole face lit up with joy. Catherine found me there. Happy? I turned to my mother. She looked lighter too, less worried. Getting there. Some days are harder than others. But yes, happy. Ezra would be proud of you, of what you have built here. I know. I smiled. I finally know. It had not been easy. Those first few weeks after the revelation were painful. Lots of tears and hard conversations. Learning to trust again. Learning to be trusted. But we had worked through it together. Slowly. Honestly. Iris had told me everything. About her sessions with Ezra. About the guilt she carried. About how helping me had started as penance and become love. And I had told her everything too. About the nightmares I still had. About the days grief still swallowed me whole. About how terrified I was of losing her. We went to therapy together, learned how to communicate, how to be vulnerable without being destructive, how to love each other and our pasts without letting either one define our future. The counseling center had been my way of honoring Ezra, of taking the pain of his loss and transforming it into something that helped others. Iris had thrown herself into it too, using her psychology degree to design programs and lead groups. It was not perfect. We still fought sometimes. I still had moments where the old armor tried to slam back into place. Iris still struggled with guilt. But we were learning, growing, healing. She caught my eye across the garden and smiled. That private, intimate smile that was just for me. I smiled back, my heart full. I had spent 5 years pushing everyone away, convinced that isolation was safety, that if I never let anyone close, I could never be hurt again. It had taken someone refusing to leave, someone brave enough to stay through my worst, to teach me the truth. The opposite of loss is not protection. It is connection. Loving again after loss is terrifying. Opening your heart when you know exactly how much it can hurt to lose someone takes more courage than I thought I had. But Iris showed me that courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing love despite the fear. We both made mistakes. She lied. I pushed her away. We both let fear drive us into choices we regretted. But we also both chose to be brave, to be honest, to fight for each other and for the possibility of something beautiful. I walked across the garden to her. She turned as I approached, eyes bright. Hey, you, she said it softly. Hey, I touched her hand. Just wanted to see you. I am glad. She laced our fingers together. I was just thinking about you. Good things, I hope. Always. Liar. But I smiled. Okay, mostly good things. She laughed. Sometimes I think about how impossible you were when I first met you. I was not impossible, just difficult. You threw things at people. One vase, and it was empty. She shook her head, grinning. You are lucky I love you. I know. I pulled her close. I kissed her softly. I am so lucky. We stood there in the garden, surrounded by people healing from their grief. And I felt something I had not felt in 5 years. Peace. The pain of losing Ezra would never fully go away. Some losses are too profound to ever completely heal. But I had learned to carry it differently, not as a weapon to hurt others or a wall to hide behind, but as a reminder that love is precious, that life is fragile, that every moment we have with the people we love is a gift. Iris had taught me that, had stayed when everyone else left, had seen past my cruelty to the wounded person underneath, had loved me enough to be honest, even when it cost her everything. And I had learned to love her back, to trust again, to believe that opening my heart was worth the risk. That evening, after the classes ended and the participants left, Iris and I sat in the conservatory, the same window seat where we had first kissed. The rain fell outside, soft and steady. What are you thinking about? She asked, her head on my shoulder. About how far we have come, how different everything is. Different good or different bad. different, beautiful. I turned to look at her. You saved my life, you know. We saved each other, she corrected gently. That is what love does. Is that what this is? I teased. Love? You know it is. She kissed me. You have known it for months. Maybe. I smiled against her lips. But I like hearing you say it. I love you, Celeste Harrington. Even when you are impossible. I love you too, Iris Chen. Even when you are annoyingly patient. She laughed. That soft, genuine laugh I had worked so hard to earn. And we sat there, wrapped in each other, watching the rain and the city lights and the life we were building together. 5 years ago, I lost the person I thought I would spend my life with. I thought that meant my life was over, that I would never love again, never be happy again, never be anything but this broken, angry shell. But grief is not the end of the story. It is just a chapter. And with the right person, with courage and honesty and commitment, you can write new chapters, beautiful ones. My name is Celeste Harrington. I am 24 years old. I lost my fiancée 5 years ago. I drove away 7 housekeepers in 6 months. I built walls so high, I thought no one could ever reach me. And then Iris Chen walked into my life and refused to leave. She stayed through my worsts, loved me when I was unlovable, showed me that healing is possible, that love after loss is possible, that I was worth fighting for. We both made mistakes. We both have scars, but we chose each other. We choose each other every single day. And that choice, that commitment, that love has transformed both of our lives. If you are watching this and you are drowning in grief, I want you to know something. The pain you feel is real and valid and profound. Loss changes us. It breaks us in ways that never fully heal. But you can learn to carry it. You can learn to build a life around the loss. You can learn to love again without forgetting the person you lost. It takes courage. It takes honesty. It takes being willing to be vulnerable, even when every instinct tells you to protect yourself. But it is possible. I am living proof. We are living proof. The people we lost would want us to live, to love, to find joy again, not to replace them, but to honor them by refusing to let grief be the end of our story. Iris taught me that. Ezra taught her that. And now we are teaching others through our counseling center. If this story moved you, if it resonated with something in your own life, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment. Tell me about your journey with grief, or love, or healing. Tell me what lesson hit you hardest. And if you know someone who is struggling with loss, who is building walls to protect themselves, who thinks they will never be happy again, share this story with them. Let them know they are not alone. That healing is possible. That love after loss is real. Subscribe to Mr. David Love Stories for more stories about love, loss, healing, and hope, because these are the stories that matter, the ones that remind us we are human, that we are capable of surviving devastating loss and still finding beauty on the other side. Like this video, if it touched you. Share it if you think others need to hear it. And remember, you are stronger than you think, braver than you know, and worthy of love, even in your broken places, especially in your broken places. Thank you for listening to our story. Thank you for being here. And remember, the people who stay through your worst are the ones worth keeping. Do not push them away. Let them in. Let them love you. You deserve it. We all deserve it.